Hi everyone, my name is Madimo Mimo Mokgosi. Welcome back to my channel. This is literally the second episode. I'll be having a conversation with Khanyi. Khanyi, welcome to Rare Realities with Madimo Mimo Mokgosi. I am always tempted to tell how we met and the introduction, but I think it's always better coming from the horse's mouth.
Hi, Mimo. Thank you for having me. How we met. Okay, firstly, my name is Khanyi Ngazo, and we met when I was in hospital, by the way. and I think I was stalking you a lot on
This
your
was
Instagram.
2019?
18.
18.
2019,
Okay.
yes, you're correct. 2019, after I had my transplant. And I remember my aunt, she came home and she was like, do you know that I think I was very worried firstly, after having the transplant. And then she's like, do you know there's a girl that also had a transplant? She's so beautiful. She's so pretty. Let me show you her. And then she showed me your profile. I think it was on Instagram. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. And then I was like, I want to meet her. I want to meet her. So yes, they did organize for me to meet you. And then I remember I was in high care at the time. And my tears were literally sitting here. And I was so excited. I was so excited.
Oh my God, guys, I am literally going to attach a picture of us when I met her in Haike. I'm going to let her tell the story of how she came about, and then I will also share my best moment when I walked in at Haike.
So when you came in, they said to me, we've got a surprise for you. I'm like, okay. And then when you walked in, I was like, I couldn't even feel my face at the excitement I had. I was so emotional because I've always thought I'm the only one. And I felt like the odd one out. And when I started following you and I was like, okay, there's someone else. Now I want to know about her, I want to know more. And I was probably on your profile almost every day, but it kept me going. That was one of the reasons why. And when you walked in, I was like, no way, no way. And I'm holding my tears now. I'm trying to be.
So it was your sister?
It's my cousin, Mpumi, and then my aunt's wife, Lisa.
Okay, so I was
Sorry, not my
communicating.
aunt's wife, my uncle's wife.
Oh, okay.
She's my aunt, Lisa. Yes.
Okay, so we were having a conversation, and this lady came into my DM and she said, I need you to speak to, I can't remember if she said my sister or my cousin. And I think it took us the whole weekend. She said she's not doing okay, she's emotional, she's just going through the most. I also need you to speak to the family.
Yeah.
And so it was 2019, if I remember. And I remember I walked in, and even the sisters at High K were like, she's not happy. I walked in, and this lady just glowed up. The room just glowed up, and I was like, there is no way that this is the sick person
Same
that I came
person.
to
I
see.
know.
And you went out the very same.
Yo, what happened after? I then got discharged, right?
Yeah, she got discharged.
Yes, I got discharged because from high care you move to the ward.
Yes.
Then I mean, like at the ward, you already okay.
You
They're
already
just
okay.
making sure.
Yeah.
And then you probably spend a day. And
Okay.
then you go home after that, or a two days max.
Okay, I need Khanyi to tell us how she ended up having a liver transplant and the process. As you know, I also had a liver transplant, but it's way different. So,
Yeah, it's two different stories.
so I
Totally
need
different.
you to take us back to that very same day. Were you sick before?
Okay. It's a crazy, crazy story. But now that I've got the chance to go in full detail, okay, I'm a student at the time. It's
Okay.
2018. Exam period, November. I'm a student at UFS in Bloemfontein.
Yes, that's Free State.
Now, being a student there, I have this huge gap between my exams. And then I'm like, no, man. The boyfriend at the time was staying in Kimberley. And that was also an arrangement to have him closer to me.
Okay.
So he was doing his internship and all of that. So I'm like, okay, remember now, I'm not sick. I'm good. I'm me. I'm young. I'm just a student, like
Living
any
her
other
life.
person, living the best life. I'm happy, man. And then I'm like, okay, let me come over to your place. Whilst you're at work, I'll study.
Okay.
For my next exam. I'm not having my next exam until the next week. I think I had a whole 7 days gap in between. So I'm like 2 days prior, I'll go back to Res. Well, I wasn't staying in Res. I was already off campus, but I'll go back to my place and then I will continue, prepare for the exam, like continue, wrap it up. And then, so I was studying that whole week. But funny enough, that whole week I was very emotional. So he says, it's like, you were crying. I'm like, why was I crying? He's like, you were crying because you were so sad about kids that can afford, and that come from disadvantaged backgrounds, and you were so concerned about. And he's like, I've been trying to ask you, wait, what happened to? How did we get here? So anyway, I was studying throughout that week, and on the Friday, went to bed after I had supper. Went to bed, and never woke up. That's the crazy part. I never woke up.
Wait.
I never. I know it sounds crazy. I never woke up. I slept Friday evening, and it was Saturday morning. It was Saturday midday. It was in the evening. Remember now, the Saturday I'm supposed to be leaving in the morning
Hang on. Are you still at his?
at his place. So I'm supposed to be leaving now so that I can prepare my stuff. Saturday, Sunday. I'm writing my exam on Monday. So I'm not waking up until evening.
And you went to bed not sick, just
No, I wasn't
emotional.
sick. I was just
Just
this emotional
from
person. I can't even remember what I was emotional about, to be honest. So, Saturday evening now. Some odd reason from my brother's side, he said that I sent him a call back, right, in 3 a.m. Saturday. And when he called back, he couldn't get me. And now he alerted the rest of the family that I can't get through to her. And he was like, it's very odd because even if she's at a party or wherever, she'll pick up and be like, I'm at a party, I'll call you back when I'm home or whatever,
Yeah.
So he's like, I find it very odd.
Like, I'm getting
it's not her.
goosebumps.
And it's like, I'm very worried because I'm the one person she will pick up the call. She'll never run away from my call, wherever she is. So me sleeping, the phone now is under the pillow and my head is on top of it, right?
Okay.
And it's on silent. So the guy now gets concerned. It's in the evening on Saturday. I haven't moved in that position. I've been in the same position since. And he's like, I went to you and I placed my finger under your nose
to check
if you're breathing, And then he checks that I'm breathing. And then he's like, okay, maybe she's still going through it all and she's tired. Let me let her sleep, So it was in the evening now, and I got up out of the blue, ran to the bathroom. I was vomiting. So he comes and checks, like, what's wrong? And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm feeling sick. He's like, okay, take a shower. I'll get you to the hospital ASAP. So I'm like, did I take the shower? Because I couldn't recall now. He's like, yeah, you got into the shower. You took the shower. You got dressed. And you were like, I'm ready. Let's go.
What?
We left. On the way now, we're fighting. Like, we're having this argument in the car that don't take me to a private hospital. Take me to a public hospital. So he's like, I'm not going to take you to a public hospital. I'm going to take you to a private hospital. You do have medical aid. He's like, why? Do you want to go to a public? I'm like, no, because my parents don't know I'm at your place. So, so they don't, now I don't want them to find out. Apparently, I didn't tell anyone where I was at. And that's so unusual. Because I at least tell my best friend where I'm at. She didn't even know that I'm not in Bloemfontein. And we got to the hospital. I don't know. It was lights out for me. I can't even point out the hospital I was at. I don't even know how it looks like inside.
Hectic.
So when I got there, they got me up on a drip, and I was, you know, the drip gives you an instant
Wake up.
wake up.
Yeah,
So
you kind of feel
I got that
better.
instant wake up, and I was like, no, I'm good. Let's go. It's time to leave. I need to write my exam on Monday.
Do you think it's the adrenaline, or it was again fear that my
My
parents
parents.
cannot find
There's
out?
this fear of parents not finding out. Like, I didn't want my dad to know that because I know he's gonna get so mad. But why are you at a boy's place? Like, even though they know him at home.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's school time. Why are you gallivanting? Whereas for me, I just wanted to be there, and I was studying throughout the week, so I felt like I'm ready for my exam.
Yeah.
Now, I'm like, let's go. The doctors are refusing. I'm like, no, I need to go. Hey, I've got an exam. And my dad is paying cash at the varsity, so I need to go. I can't be missing exams. That's my dad's money.
My goodness.
Guys, do you know the confidence? And I don't know where I got it, but the confidence and the English is coming out now.
Telling the doctors
And
that you're
that
okay.
time I'm so sick. That time the doctors were like, boyfriend, can you please talk to her? She's not okay. She won't make it. She won't even get to Bloemfontein. Talk to her. Tell her to stay. He had to stay at the hospital until I fell asleep. And I wasn't falling asleep. I was awake. And I was like, let's go. Let's sneak out, man. They won't see us. Let's go.
At this moment, did they tell you that
They don't know what's wrong.
you've been sleeping for?
I don't even know. So when he left now, and the hospital had to alert my parents. I mean, like, it's my dad's medical aid. So
Yeah.
he had to know. And the boyfriend had to call at home. Oh, he didn't call. My mom now is looking for the boyfriend's number. She's mad.
Oh.
Calls my best friend. Where is she? What's her name? My best friend's like, I didn't even know where she is. All along, I'm talking to her over the phone. I'm thinking she's here in Bloemfontein.
Yeah.
I didn't live far from my best friend's place, but it was hard to get it inside where I stayed because everything was biometric.
Oh, okay.
So even if she went there, she wasn't going to be able to get in,
Okay.
So she tried going there and like asking the people that stay there to use their biometrics to get in. But you can only get in until the door of my room. You can't go in. It needs mine unless you're going to request the master key. So with all that happening now, it's Sunday, early hours of the morning. Now my parents have been alerted. They know what's happening, and they don't know. They know I'm in hospital, but they don't know what's wrong. No one knows what's wrong. Even at the hospital, they were still running tests. So Sunday, I remember, like, some memories came back later on. I remember my uncle. He walked in. He works in Kimberley. So my mom called and asked, "Can you go? This is happening. Can you go check what's going on? I'm on my way." My mom is on her way with my brother, and who else? I think it was the two of them driving now to Kimberley. It's Sunday. Okay, he gets there, and then I remember talking to him, but I don't know what I said. And he was standing at the door of this ward, and boyfriend kept on coming, bringing food, bringing stuff, but they're like, you weren't eating. Your eyes were turning yellow.
Oh dear.
Chapped lips, dehydration, and there was just a lot. Now the symptoms are there,
Okay.
but they're still not sure. Sunday went by. As Sunday went by, it was 2 a.m. Monday morning now, in the AMs on the Monday, where they were like, no, actually, we need to get her to Joburg. And we need to airlift her, and we believe that
There's something
wrong with the liver. So now, remember, my mom left with my brother. They were driving to Kimberley from Eastern Cape.
Okay.
And they left in the evening, right? And as they were about to get to Kimberley, they told, no, she's being airlifted to
Joburg.
So reroute.
Yes.
So they had to reroute. Now my dad, on the other hand, couldn't just leave. He was the principal at a school.
Okay.
So, and he had management meetings that needed him. And now it was a very
Like everything is happening at
Very
the same
fast.
time.
So my mom was like, you know what? When I know you love your work and you're very passionate, but that's my daughter. I'm leaving. Bye. So my dad was like, can I at least report at work what's happening? And then I will
Meet you there.
Since she's going to Joburg, I'll fly in through to Joburg.
Okay.
So he flew in. It's Monday morning now. It's Monday in the morning. I'm here. When I got here, being airlifted in the AMs from Kimberley to Joburg, my brother had to come. Since he's here in Joburg, he had to come in and identify me. Now I'm unconscious, breathing. I'm breathing through the pipes, literally, you know.
When did this happen? Because you were okay.
Yes. And you know, it was rapidly failing the liver. From Sunday, I think it took a turn on that Sunday, because now when they got the blood tests back and they could see that, okay, you know, she's really in a bad state and it's getting worse. So I was swollen. I remember I had the picture, but my family asked me if I could delete the picture.
Because it brought those memories.
So they said, can you please delete the picture and see it for the last time, and we remove it. Now I'm swollen, the whole entire body, especially my face. My mom was like, your face looked like a pumpkin. I'm like, yes, it did. When I saw that picture, I could barely tell it's me. And I was like, why? I was, even the color of my skin, I was purple. You know someone who looks like they bumped into something or got beaten up or whatever. I was purple all over my body. I'm like, I'm unconscious. My brother comes in to identify me now. And when he gets here to the hospital, he's like, it is her, but why does she look like this? What happened to her?
Bumped into something, or they did something to you?
Now they're starting to think a whole lot of things. Our boyfriend must come account. What happened? Why does she Why does she look like this? You know? But at the very same time, their minds were all over. You know?
I can imagine.
Everything was happening so fast. Now it's the meeting with the doctors at the transplant unit. So they're like, okay, we ran tests. It is failing. Does she smoke drugs? Or does she take any drug? My mom is like, no, I don't know. She's in varsity.
It takes me back when the doctor said, if I'm having like sexual intercourse, I'm like, I'm in high school, for crying out.
It's always the crazy questions, you know? It's always the crazy questions. My mom was like, at the time I was vouching for you, but at the very same time, I'm like, but you're a kid. You're in varsity. I don't know
Probably
what you
naughty.
do. Yeah, you know, you live alone, so we don't know what you get up to. And then they're like, okay, does she have a boyfriend? Yes, she's got a boyfriend. What is the boyfriend saying? Because we need to know what happened. This is not normal, you know? And my mom now had to call the boyfriend, you know, get the number. Funny enough, all of a sudden they didn't have the number, which was weird. And I don't know how things were happening at the time, you know? The other question was that, was she drinking? They're like, mom was like, yeah, she always out with friends, so they're probably drinking. But I mean, like, what is it that she drank that was so harsh?
Toxic,
you know? It's literally making the liver fail so rapidly. So, and my mom was like, you know what? She was home 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
She was kicking. She was
okay.
She was happy. She was
Lively.
excited, you know? So I'm like, okay. Now, I'm still unconscious. Now the family is having all these meetings and they're trying to negotiate what happened and trying to... And now, I don't know where and how they said I was taking Herbalife. And apparently it's Herbalife.
Like anything that will just direct.
At this point, it was Herbalife. The story was Herbalife. I'm like, when I woke up, like when I was okay, I was like, guys, when have I ever taken Herbalife? when have I ever tried to lose weight? Come on now, you know. But anyway, now it's days are moving. Oh, my dad flew in, so the entire family is just here. My uncles, my mom's sisters, my aunts, everyone that's around Joburg, that's family, and my family from Eastern Cape, they came through. Now we are like, it's time to prepare for the transplant now, because there's nothing we can do that's gonna reverse anything, you know. It's
Literally,
failing, it's
it
failing.
was critical.
It's failing, and there's nothing we can do. She needs a transplant. My mom was like, okay, take my liver then. They're like, no.
It doesn't happen like that.
In any case, she needs a full liver, you know. Now, we can't just take a piece of the liver.
Oh.
She's at a stage where she needs a full one now. Okay, another glitch now. We have to find a full liver.
Shucks.
I'll go on to the list for...
So, I know it's 2019. What month is this?
It's still 2018.
Oh, it's still
We're
2018.
still in November that week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just that the days are moving now, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, around there.
Okay.
So I know on the Thursday, they called them in, and in the evening, they're like, okay, you know what? At this point, there isn't much we can do. It's a matter of we get the donor, like as an ASAP, because this liver is still moving very rapidly, like it's failing at a fast pace, you know. So they like, it's either we get the donor. Should 10 hours pass and we haven't received a donor,
You're gone.
I'm gone. You guys can
10.
prepare for a funeral. So, you know, that statement is quite harsh, but
It is.
now they bring in the psychologist is there, all these doctors, you know. So my mom and her sister, they used to demonstrate this for me all the time. My mom was like, but you're not God. So how do you
I
tell
love
me?
your mom.
It's like, you're not God. How do you didn't make her?
Yeah.
It's God. So you can't tell me she's got 10 hours.
Timekeeper.
Exactly. Then my mom's sister was like, Sisi, let's go. Masambi, bayeke lab. Let's go. So my mom was like, we were so mad. We were so angry. How do they tell us you've got
Understand.
10 hours left? So they call in the psychologist again to talk to them. Mom's like, hey, we don't want to hear anything from you. And now, you know, Xhosa moms, ne? At that point, the Xhosa that was
coming out.
she was like, we don't want to hear anything from Wena. We are leaving. Took her purse and they left with the sister. They get home. My mom wasn't eating that whole entire week. My dad was frustrated. Every time the phone would ring, my dad would be like, no, you answer. My mom would be like, no, you answer. No, you answer, you know. So it was a tough week. And then Friday morning, 8:45, they receive a call from the hospital that we got a donor.
Okay.
We got the liver, and we can prepare for the transplant immediately. And we would like you guys to come to the hospital. Yeah. So now
So they're back in the Eastern Cape now?
No, they were staying here at my uncle's.
Oh, okay.
My mom has a brother that stays here in Joburg. So they were there. Now, they actually, they drove, he was staying at Roodepoort. So they drove all the way to Parktown.
Okay.
And then they got here. And then now, they're very excited. But remember, I'm not out of the woods now.
Now they need to prepare for something that's bigger.
Yeah. So the doctors are like, we need you guys to pray now. At this point, it's only prayer. You know, we're going to do our job, but it's only prayer. Okay, it's time to do the transplant. And the crazy part was that when it was time to do it, they couldn't do it because there was so much pressure in my head. They said something about my head filled with so much pressure, they had to cut it open. Actually, I have a scar here, you know. They had to cut it open, and with it to reduce the pressure, and then only afterwards they can do the transplant. Now time is moving.
Now you're doing another op before
An op.
an op.
A pre-op.
Pre-op.
A pre-op. So, oh yes, we do the pre-op now, and the pressure has been reduced. I don't know these medical terms, but the pressure ultimately is reduced, and now we have to prepare for the transplant, the actual operation that we're in for. And I remember my mom saying that when they called us back into the hospital, because she kept on leaving the hospital, she's like, I couldn't be around here because I was stressing. And she's like, when they called us back and they got here at the hospital, they were like, okay, that one was successful. Now pray that it doesn't bleed. Like, there's no bleeding that will take place in the head, you know. Okay, now prayer changes.
Dear God, I know we said,
but now, for now, can you make sure there's no bleeding? In the afternoon, around 2 p.m., that's when they started the transplant. Then they're like, it's going to take about 6 hours.
Yeah.
We'll call you after 3 hours to tell you the progress. It can't be anything. My mom is like,
as a parent,
it was very difficult. I can only imagine.
I can imagine.
I can only imagine. Now, they leave again. My mom's like, let's go to the mall. Let's go somewhere I won't be thinking so much. They get to the mall. She doesn't want to get out of the car now. So they're like, all right, let's go home. Let's go to the house. We'll come back after 3 hours. I'm gone into theater now, and okay, I'm into theater. They leave, and then 3 hours later they get the call. As they got the call, they're like, my daddy's like, no, you answer. My mom's like, no, you answer. And then someone has to answer the phone, you know.
Yeah, eventually.
They answer. They put on loudspeaker, and then they're like, good news, she's doing okay.
Okay.
You guys can come close by now, and we will do the last 3 hours, and then it should be a wrap. Okay, fine. They come back. It's another, but my mom said it was less than the remaining 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
They took less than that.
Okay.
So now we done. I'm in ICU, but I'm still not awake. I'm still.
Mind you, you are wrapped here.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Oh, and I had braids. Eh? I had your straight back. They cut my straight back here. They cut my straight back here.
Oh my goodness.
So I had this tiny cut. They didn't even undo the braids. They just cut. So after that, I'm in ICU now. It's Friday evening. I don't know how long it took me to wake up. But when I was still, my eyes weren't open, yes, but I could hear them.
Okay.
I couldn't talk. And every time I could hear my mom and dad sing.
She's waking up.
Yeah, I could hear them sing. But then I wasn't responding much. I am responding to the medication, yes.
Yeah.
But my eyes are just not opened yet. So I don't know what day they opened, but we were in November, I think around December. Now I was awake,
okay.
But just that I couldn't talk.
Sure.
I couldn't sit. Like I couldn't sit upright like this.
Uh-huh. So you just laying there.
Yeah,
backwards,
in bed.
Machines around you.
Machines. You know, the one thing that I used to hate is the one that they put up
in your nose.
Yeah, to make you breathe. And then there's that one that goes in as well. There was a whole lot of stuff going on. So I used to yank them out all the time. Every chance I got. So I started getting tied onto the bed. Because the nurses were like, why? So they tied me up onto the bed. And then also I remember this one day when my parents came, I was starting to learn how to talk, you know.
Okay.
Because when the doctors would come, they'd be like, hi, what's your name?
Mm.
And then I'm like, what's my name?
You couldn't remember anything.
I couldn't remember my name. I'm like, what's my name? Then they're like, do you know what day it is? I don't know what day it is. And then they'd still again be like, like, they'd ask, I remember they asked me, do you know where you're at? I'm like, yes, I know. They're like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in Cape Town.
You thought you were on a holiday.
I'm like, I'm in Cape Town. I had a whole lot of confusion that was going on. And I thought, okay, this is crazy, né? But when I woke up, I thought I was kidnapped.
Oh, shucks.
Like, that's how bad my confusion was. I thought I was kidnapped. And you know when you are bruised from the needles and all of that?
Yes,
and
you're
you're
drugged.
So and now I'm thinking, okay, all these things that are showing, like these purple marks, dark blue marks on my skin. No, man, I was really kidnapped and I was fighting back.
And mind you, being on morphine
Oh.
also makes you hallucinate and
I know.
think of other things.
So it was very crazy. And it's my family, every time they'd come in, they'd ask me, do you know what happened? What do you remember? And they discovered that I only recall all the things that I was saying were from the previous week, not the week I spent in Kimberley.
Yeah.
I recall being in the library at school with my two friends studying for the exam that I was writing that week. They're like, no, but that happened a week before this happened.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, that's why I was like, it was crazy because I couldn't remember much that happened that week. And they were saying that I was emotional and whatever. But anyway, now I'm stuck with confusion. I can't sit, I'm just lying there like a potato. And I am so angry at the world. I'm so angry at the world. I can't understand what happened, what's happening. And people are saying, you're not kidnapped. You weren't kidnapped. You're not. So,
And they're probably thinking you're acting. You don't want to tell the truth.
you know? So I'm like, what happened? What really happened? And I think what was more frustrating was the fact that one moment I recall being at the library at school and I'm okay. And the next moment, people are telling me, no, you're in a hospital, you had a transplant.
Yeah.
And you know how on your scar they put
The clips.
the clips?
Yeah.
And I had this other, I'm not sure if it's a band-aid or whatever, but that was going.
Yeah.
I ripped it off. I'm like, no. The moment I was able to talk, the nurses had it hard. I was like, no, let's stop acting here. Let's, come on.
What's this?
What's this? Ripped it off, removed everything that I was plugged on, trying to get the drip out, everything. I was like, no, I need to go home. Like, I want to go.
That Khanyi papa
Yeah,
came out
you know?
again.
and she was fully frustrated and annoyed. I'm like, no, I need to go. I need to go home. So I remember my mom's sister came this one time. Now my parents had to return to Eastern Cape, right? And because work.
Yeah.
Now they have to go and report and submit stuff. It's exam period and they both teachers, you know. So they went back home. My mom's sister kept on coming. Mm-hmm. My aunt. And then I remember this one. I'm like, no, let's go home. Asambe.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, listen, Mimi, we can't go now. And she was trying to convince me. I stayed up the entire night because I was like, the moment she steps out, I'm stepping out with her, forgetting that I can't even walk. She's like, okay, remember you don't have shoes here, ne? You don't have shoes. So I have to go get you shoes. Let me go downstairs and buy you
like
shoes.
lying to you like a baby.
I'm like, let me go downstairs and buy you shoes. Then I'll come get you. Let me go buy the shoes. When I say she had to leave her handbag there and take her wallet to show me that she's coming back.
Yeah.
But she just took the wallet. She knows she can still get home without the handbag. She'll just get the handbag tomorrow. So I don't know what day it is. I don't know what's happening. I have this crazy confusion. There are side effects that are... The way I was so confused still baffles me. And I got out of... It was December now. My mom was going to the marking centers.
Okay.
So she's still going to be away. And now she's like, I need to make money. I've got bills to pay. Now this person is in hospital,
And now bills are adding up.
Yeah, so I can't say no to this, And then, but she trusted the family around very much that no, she's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
She used to call every morning here at the hospital to check, is she awake? Is she okay? What's or not? So this one day I'm like, I've learned to talk now. The speech therapist kept on coming. Now I'm excited, I can talk. Never mind that I'm talking a whole lot of nonsense because I'm confused.
Yeah.
And I'm telling stories that are not there. And there's a whole lot, I'm like, I need to call my mom. They're like, and I've been moved from the ICU
To high care.
to high care. At high care, I didn't stay long. I moved from high care to the ward. I remember when I got to the ward, it was Ward J. There was a room that had a balcony door that you can go out, right? They're like, please lock it, because we can't trust her at this point. Please lock it. So they had to organize the key for that door to be locked.
Yeah.
All the time. But I was like, now that I think of it, I couldn't walk. Yes, I could talk at that point.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit up. My body was still tender. I couldn't do a lot of stuff. And my physio kept on coming. And then this one day, I'm like, I need to call my mom. They're like, okay, we'll bring the phone to your bed. It's okay. I'm like, no, I need to call my mom now. They're like, no, wait, we'll bring it. It's okay. They took so long. To me, it felt long. It probably wasn't.
Don't tell me you tried to walk out.
I got up. That was the day I got up. That was the day I started walking. I got up. They met me at the reception table.
What?
And the door of the room was directly facing the reception. So when they saw me come out, now I was scheming, and I got up from the bed, and I realized, oh, I can get up. And then
First step, I can walk.
to really show that everything is in your mind. When I got up, I stood by the bed. Now I'm thinking, from my bed to the wall, because I'm going to use the wall to move, I need to be very quick.
You planned this.
I need to take 1-2 steps. I did that. And by the time I was getting to the wall, I was falling, so I quickly,
hold it. Okay.
hold on to the wall. And then I moved using the wall, slowly but surely. And I've got these swelled up legs and feet,
Wasn't your cell oozing at that time?
It was. And I just didn't care. I just wanted to call my mom because I wanted to go home. So I kept on moving, and I got to the door. Now at the door, I opened the door, and I'm like, to get to the reception table, I need to be very swift. Like, I need to move very fast now. The steps I took, I've never, they were so wide because I can't move slow, And I got to the reception table, and I could see there's not a nurse there. I think they were attending patients.
Oh, no.
I stood there, holding on there, and I was just like, the shock they got when they saw me there. They're like, how did you get here? I'm like, I walked. They're like, you walked? I'm like, I walked. They're like, how? I'm like, I walked. Can I call my mom now? They dial my mom. They're like, do you know the number? I didn't even know the number. I forgot the number. They check on the file. They call my mom. And the nurse spoke first. She's like, your daughter, gay? She moved from her bed to the reception desk, and she's telling us she wants to call you. My mom now is shocked.
Oh, I'm sure she's scared now.
She's
There's a
scared.
lot going through her
she's
mind.
Scared. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, Dombi, how did you move? I'm like, I walked. She's like, but why? I'm like, because I wanted to call you. Where are you? And I didn't know where she was at the time. She's like, Digwa marking. And she can't talk loud. She's at the marking center. She's like, Digwa marking. But I'll call you back. Stop moving around without supervision. I'm like, when are you coming to get me? And I didn't care about anything at that point. I'm like, when are you coming to get me? She's like, I'm coming soon. Next week I'll be there. I'm like, okay, you better come. Now every day I'm counting days. When are my parents gonna get here? When are my parents gonna get here? But my brothers were here.
Oh, okay.
They played a huge role on taking care of me during that period. I think it was
Yeah.
about 2 weeks or so. They played a huge role because I'm fresh out of transplant. There's a whole lot of things to learn. There's a whole lot of adjustments, you know.
And the sister does not want to be a patient.
I didn't understand. And before they leave every evening, I'd be like, turn me around. Then they have to turn me. And that time I'm so heavy, they'd have to turn me because I can't turn myself at
Yeah.
night. So even if I want to turn, I can't. So I used to instruct them a lot. And then I remember at the time I was still on Pampers. I used to wear diapers. And I told my brother, go buy me panties. I'm tired of these Pampers. And then he's like, no, but it's in order for the nurse when you can't ring your bell in time, they know that
Yeah.
you don't make a mess on your bed, you know. I was like, I'm tired. They really went to go buy me panties, and I'm like, put them on. I can't do it myself, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like, put them on. So I think I pushed myself. I pushed myself because those things like wanting to call my mom and telling myself I'll get to that reception desk
Yeah.
helped me. From that day, my physio started moving
Improving.
me. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
now we were walking, learning how to walk. We stopped doing exercises on the bed. Secondly, the nurses stopped putting me on diapers and I started wearing panties so I could ring the bell when I need the toilet. So it was those improvements, I think, that because I was so desperate to get home,
Okay.
they pushed me to get better. And I was forcing matters, to be honest. I was forcing matters. And when we went for transplant education, I went with my brother. So they teach us about transplant, the hygiene, the medication, what to eat. And then my dietitian was also there. And we're learning all these things, right?
Now you still at the ward, or now
Yes.
you okay?
Still at the ward, but
Preparing you for when you
preparing
get discharged.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the whole process. Now, at that point, I was worried.
Okay. Thank you.
Worried, excited. I'm worried, number one,
Worried about?
a life after.
Okay.
Two, I'm excited that I'll get home. Now people can start giving me answers. What really happened? What really happened?
Why was I kidnapped?
Why was I kidnapped?
Who kidnapped?
And you know, when you believe something in your mind, you dream about it. You start, and I was dreaming about it. And every time I dreamt about it, I was at the at the kidnapping scene. So I really believed that I was kidnapped. And my family had to be like, you were not kidnapped. No
Yeah.
one kidnapped you. No one kidnapped you. But also, the boyfriend at the time came when I was having that Friday of the transplant, he came through. So
Could you remember him? Because I know at one point it feels like your memory kind of goes off and you only remember the people that are literally close to you.
yes, I did remember him, but in my head I was like, do you know, with the confusion and not understanding what was happening, I was scheming in my head, thinking to myself, what am I going to say to him? I need to tell him where I was. What am I going to say to him? It felt like I disappeared on him.
Oh.
I didn't know he was part of the
Not
whole
knowing he was part of the kidnap.
So to me, it felt like I disappeared on him. Somehow got kidnapped by these people from my place in Bloom. So he doesn't know. Now I don't want him to get mad. Now I'm thinking, how am I gonna lie? What am I gonna say to him? You know, of which was crazy. It came with the confusion that I had, and when he told me the story, it's like, but where did you get that? Because I was there when you were being transplanted. I was
Yeah.
at the hospital. I was with your parents. I remember when they left and I sat there and all of that. And even afterwards, he visited again because he had to go back to work.
Okay.
You know, he was a fresh graduate that was doing his internship and stuff. So he had to return quickly, fly back to Kimberley, and then he came through when the company was closing for December holidays.
Yeah.
He came back again, and he was at home every day, almost every day. He was at home.
Yeah.
Even on Christmas, I was like, no, it's fine. You can stay with your family now.
Need a break.
You don't have to be here every day. It's okay.
Yeah.
Relax. But the confusion was still ongoing because I remember telling him, I saw your mom. It's like, where? I was like, at the hospital. I was talking to her. Isn't she a nurse there? Like, no, my mom's not a nurse. The confusion was bad.
Yeah,
it was
no, I can
very
imagine.
bad. It was very bad. And after I was still at the ward, we were taught everything regarding transplant, and that was before being discharged. And I was thinking to myself, I missed so many exams now. I need to get back to school. I was worried about how am I going to fit in back into society.
Yeah.
Now I have to wear this mask. It's like, why?
So we wore the mask before the
Way
COVID.
before the COVID. Way before the COVID. You have a whole boxes of masks at home. So those things were annoying me. And I was a cool kid, man. I mean, like, I was in varsity, I was having the time of my life. Now, chiki things change.
Yeah.
So I was very annoyed by that as well. And I had so much anger. I had a lot of anger because I remember still when I couldn't walk, no talk, the psychologist would still be there. Every time, sweet lady, she'd walk in. Hi, Khanyi Sile.
And you just
Oh
did
my
like,
goodness, I'd look around and search for an object. And I would throw it to her.
what?
Because I was like, why are you here? What are you doing here?
I guess it's the frustration that you cannot do anything and you're not in control.
You know? And I was like, what are you doing here? What do you want? No, I don't want to talk. It's fine. So, but I mean, like, she had to be there.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very important step for me. It was a very important engagement for me. Like, I needed her. So, and she never gave up, man. She kept on coming. Every day, there's something I'm throwing at her. If it's not a toilet paper roll that's sitting here, it's a glass, it's whatever. If there's food that I didn't finish, anything. So, my doctors were concerned that why so much anger?
Yeah.
You know, what happened? Like, and I was just mad at the fact that why am I in hospital? Why am I not living my best life?
Explaining to you why and how.
And after that, it was December holidays. I got discharged right before the 20th of December or something around there. Because I remember the 20th, it's my mom's birthday, and we were going out for dinner. Now I can't. I'm a fresh transplant.
You hear? And you
And I
can
can't
only
eat.
have like 5 people in the room.
Can't even eat the food that's prepared at a restaurant. So I'm like, so you guys are gonna leave me at home? They're like, yeah, you can stay. Be back soon. We'll be back soon. So I was like, no, I'm coming with. So I was sitting there. I remember we had the dinner at Billie Jean Monte Casino, and I'm sitting there with a mask. I can't even eat the food.
Be happy.
Where was I going?
Be happy, girl.
You know, I was so annoyed. But we enjoyed Christmas at my uncle's here. Now I'm still in Joburg. Now I need to recover. I'm having these checkups every week, every 2 weeks, so forth.
Yeah.
And it's January. Now it kicks into me that school. And I'm like, I need to go back to school. The doctors are like, no, you can't. No, you shouldn't. What's so not giving me every reason in the book not to go back to school? I was like, hey, yes, it's fine. My parents are like, no, you can come with us to Eastern Cape after 3 months of recovering here in Joburg.
Yeah.
And you can be at home this year, sit it out and relax. Be okay. You'll get back to school. You've got time.
No rush.
I was like, no way. I'm going back to school.
And it is so weird that, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like the transplant calling type of thing always happens when you're studying.
Yeah. Majority.
Because I was also studying, and at one point my doctors were like, unfortunately you cannot continue with your studies because one, it's also stressing you and it's going to delay.
It stresses you.
Your
It
healing.
stresses you.
And you just, they're like, no, I can do this.
That's when I realized, when I look back now, I'm like, hey, Shwena girl, you like forcing matters. You like forcing matters. I forced through everything, I don't want to lie. And now it's January, I want to go back to school. Parents are saying no. Doctors are like, no. I was like, okay. Call my brother. I'm staying at my uncle's place. My brother has his own place. I call him. I'm like, I want to go back to school, so can you take me back to Bloemfontein? He's like, what are the doctors? I'm like, no, they approved.
The lies.
I'm like, no, they approved, let's go. He hires a car. We gone. Now we're going to register. Get there. My brother explains at it's like a huge hall. The lines along, there's
Yeah.
the queues and all of that. Now, my brother explains to the facilitators that
Just had a liver transplant.
so I'm worried that there's so many people, but she really wants to register, and I'm only letting her register 3 modules maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone had to be out of the hall. They took everyone out, got me in, sat me there. I remember even the dean of my faculty was there, and it was the 2 facilitators from the faculty, and now we're registering. So they're like, listen, man, the degree you're doing, given your health right now, it's going to take you long. Especially if you're going to register like 2 modules a year.
Yeah.
Girl, you'll take 10 years to finish this.
But you didn't care, you just wanted to.
So I'm like, what's the next option? They're like, it was a communications one.
Okay.
And it had media studies and journalism. So they're like, choose. Because that year they were introducing a communications one, journalism one, media.
Okay.
So they separated everything. So they're like, you can choose between the 3. What we'll do, we'll credit you for the 2 years that you've already spent.
Okay.
And then for whatever you choose, then you'll just be left with 1 year. You do that 1 year, the remaining modules. But if you want to split them, it's fine. I was like, okay, makes sense to me. So I'm like, okay, I'll go for journalism. They're like, okay, cool. Now, it's supposed to be 1 year, the modules that are left. But because now I can't take all of them,
Yeah.
I have to split them. And then it ended up overlapping to the 2nd year.
Okay.
So I just did those 2 years.
Okay.
Then I was done. Now, but that was 2019 registering. We tell my parents that we went to register this and this. Hey, my parents.
Didn't they freak out?
They do. And my dad is like, and remember, I don't have funding for school.
Yeah.
So everything is literally cash, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I worry because I can't afford to slip up. You know, I have to make sure I pass everything. Everything is going well. And I remember my dad was so worried. He's like, Ish, but it's fine. It's done now. Let's see. I went through the first 6 months when it was time to write mid-year exams. The stress I had. I'm getting used to living alone now after transplant. And I'm not supposed to be living alone.
No.
I'm going to campus almost every day. I'm doing things for myself. I'm just forcing matters.
Aren't you exhausted to
I'm always
begin
exhausted.
with?
I am just forcing matters at this point. And then, okay, I remember now, after the exams, the way I got so sick, I think that's where we met. And I was like, am I back here again? I got so sick to a point where I could feel that I'm sick, but I'm like, I'm not going to tell my doctor. I need to finish my exams. I need to finish. I didn't know I was compromising my health at the time, you know. And then at some point, my mom was like, you need to call your doctor. You're not okay. I had all the symptoms, and I'm like...
And they coming back.
And you know, when you're so tired, that fatigue, that... I was exhausted, but I was dragging myself. And I ended up texting my doctor. I'm like, I'm not feeling well. It's like, when did it start? And I lie. I'm like, yesterday.
And you can't lie to these people.
I mean, like, they're going to see it, I'm like, yesterday. And then he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. It's like, okay, go do some bloods for me. I
Yeah.
do bloods. I take a cab to the hospital, do bloods, come back. When he got those bloods in the afternoon, he was like,
There's no way you
I
are
need you
sick there.
on the first flight out. The next one from Bloemfontein to Joburg, I
Yeah.
need you in that one. It's 2 p.m. The next flight is leaving at 4. Then it was 4:10 something. I literally just took my toiletry bag and I left. I went to the airport. I'm like, can I get a flight ticket? And I left. And I came straight into ICU. My doctor was like, there's no way you got sick yesterday. Your bloods are telling me there's no way you got sick yesterday. You've been sick and you've been quiet about it. And I was like, I've been sick and I've been quiet about it,
Weren't you like acting surprised? Like, no, there's no
I'm
way.
like, really? I thought the headache I had, man.
Yeah.
It's like, number one, you can't be self-medicating yourself. And my urine at the time was so dark. Every day I would pee and then look at the pee and like, shit. But we're doing it. Let's go to campus, The signs were there. And he's like, you need to stop self-medicating.
Yeah.
I used to love self-medicating. I Google it. It's safe for
We love Google so much.
Yeah, no, I lived Google, checked all the time. So he's like, number one, the danger, you're self-medicating. Number two, you're not saying that you're not okay. Number three, you live alone.
Yeah.
Anything could have happened to you, and it's hard to access your room because it's biometric. So no one was going to see you, or no one was going to pick up that you're okay or not. So, I mean, I'm being a student, I was very crazy. What I want to do, I'll do my way. And everyone else will just follow. So now I'm in ICU. Now it kicks into me that, is this going to be my life? Is this how I'm going to live? Is this how I'm going to... Like, no, man, this is not working. Because I'm not enjoying life at this point. And at that point, I didn't accept what was happening,
Yeah.
It was very difficult. I'm like, man, I remember I stayed for 7 weeks in hospital. 7. Now we're into the second semester. That's when I was getting more upset, more depressed, more angry. I was like, no, man, this can't be my life. Something has to give, like, kuzoti.
And the more you are like depressed, the more they just keep you in hospital.
And my doctor was, it's like, I have no choice. You're not going anywhere.
I remember I used to pretend, when you're still not feeling well and you're just smiling every time they walk in. You're like, am I going home? Am I going? But you can feel.
But you're not okay. So I spent that 7. That's when we met at the time. Because, to me, life didn't make sense at that point. So I was arranging now that, me and skimming, I was arranging with my lecturers that you guys send me the work. I'll do it here. Because I can see I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay.
I might as well.
So it's
just
biopsy
from hospital.
It's biopsy after biopsy. It's doing this treatment. It's doing that treatment. So I was like, yes, it's fine. Now my lecturers are like, no, man, we can't make you do work.
Yeah.
In the hospital, and you're not in a good state. You're sitting in ICU. Why do you have a laptop in ICU? What are you doing with a laptop in ICU? So I was like, but I was frustrated because now it proves the point my dad and the doctors made, that sit at home, recover. Don't now try and go and pursue school. School will always be there. So I was like, no.
Do you know now, when you were going back to the hospital, was it rejection or infection?
I had an infection.
Okay.
I had a fever. Started as a fever. Self-medicated myself. The fever went away. The fever symptoms.
Yeah.
and then I was okay. But the liver rejection symptoms kicked in, and I wasn't aware that it was rejecting, but I knew something's wrong.
Ish.
So I would be tired. I'd get the headaches, loss of appetite, dark urine,
Eyes yellowing.
eyes yellowing, my skin, it would even turn
Itchy.
Oh,
That's the first thing I know when I've got like an infection or rejection.
Itchy.
You just get so itchy.
itchiness. My feet were so dark, and I'm like, I know something's wrong, but I'm still moving with the life. So
Google.
yeah, so at that point, the Google has all these remedies, home remedies. Drink this, detoxes the liver. I'm out there creating them all the time. So I end up getting an infection
Oh, okay.
and escalated. My liver end up rejecting. And then I'm like, Kanti, vele vele, like, why did you guys even take out my liver in the first place? If that's the case, I mean, like, this thing of yours is not working, so can I? Why? Where? And I started questioning my dad. I'm like, what happened to my liver after you took it out? Where did you take it? He's like, what was supposed to happen to it?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I feel like you should have gave it back to me as a person. It's like, no, that's not how we dispose human parts.
Organ,
Yeah, we can't give it to you. I'm like, I think you should have just given it back to me. And at the time, lack of knowledge as well. I'm thinking to myself, man, this is not right. There must be something else. I overheard this guy talking there at hiking. So it was a patient.
Okay.
He said he drank some Chinese tea. That was, ever since he started drinking that tea, he never went back into hospital. It never rejected. It never. So I'm thinking to my head, let me Google this tea, because I'm scared to ask him, what's the name of the tea? Is it hibiscus or hibiscus? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's either hibiscus or hibiscus. I look for it. I find it. I see it sold at Woolies.
Disclaimer. Don't try anything at home.
I see it sold there. Even so, it's their brand, and it has other things. So it's not actually the pure one that guy was talking about from China, I drank it,
Yeah.
I drank it. It didn't work. It was just another ordinary tea.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't do what it was supposed to do to me, So, liver still rejecting, still in ICU, still experiencing the symptoms now. Now I'm getting into this depression state. I'm starting to hate my life. I'm like, why doesn't God take me once? I'm having those dark thoughts now. And after ICU went to high came. I spent another good 3 weeks or something.
Yes.
But I know in total I spent about 7 weeks in hospital.
Yeah.
So that was the period we met. And when I got out, I wanted to leave.
Go back to Bloemfontein, back to school. Wow.
Because now admitted. Oh, by the way, that December I did dialysis as well.
Were your kidneys?
The kidneys had an infection. But now they were like, it can be cleared, you don't have to. I remember my doctor wanted to do a kidney biopsy. I was like, there's no way. If I cry every time I have a liver biopsy, how much more a kidney? I was like, there's no way. So the kidneys had an infection, and the liver wasn't functioning well as well. So stayed December in hospital. That is 2019. And I got out January. Once again, I left to go register at school. Now I'm like, this is the last year.
Like every time you get better and you get the opportunity, you like
I dash, I go,
registration.
I go every chance I had. So now it's January, February, March. We're into 2020. In March, there's these talks about COVID.
Well, now we're into 2020.
Yeah. There were the talks regarding COVID, and I was like, I remember I called my mom. I'm like, come fetch me. Let's go home. What if I catch a COVID Lana at school? I don't feel safe. Let's go. And my mom was like, I stay at school. I'm not coming to get you because one. So my mom didn't want to get me at school because the COVID wasn't that serious at the time. So she's like, no man, there are no breakouts Lana Bloemfontein, so stay at school. And it's like, just tell me if you are tired of school, okay? Because now it's like a tactic you want to be.
Yeah.
But I was feeling very overwhelmed. Do you know at the time there was the human trafficking, the girlies being trafficked all the time from airports? Those stories were breaking out.
Yeah.
And I was in constant fear. There was a lot happening in Bloemfontein regarding students being kidnapped and what's not. Now there's COVID. And I was feeling very overwhelmed. I was like, no, man. I just, internally, I could feel that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I want to go home. And my mom's like, I'm not coming to get you at school. Stay there.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to go to school. School, okay. I called my gran, my mom's mom, and I was crying on the phone. And then she called my mom. It's like, hey, Tammy, so my mom was like, hi, Mama, I'm not going to go fetch her. She must stay at school.
Yeah.
She wanted to go back to school. She was forcing us to let her go back to school. Now she's at school. She wants to come home.
She wants to,
She must stay at school. But a day later, she comes. And when she got me, it was on the 20th. 6 days later, on the 26th, the country was
Lockdown.
And I was like, thank God I'm at home.
Okay. Weren't you scared because now it was more of us having underlying issues that were like on high risks?
Yo, the fear I had. And I don't know, man. I think at the time I still hadn't accepted the whole transplant thing. Do you know when you don't accept something?
Yeah.
And there's issues all the time. Every moment there's something. It's rejecting, infection, you are sick, what's so not.
I don't think it was because you had not accepted, but because it was something so new to you and your body.
And life changed. Lifestyle had to change. A lot had to change, man. And remember now, I'm in my peak. I want to be a groovist now. I wanted to have fun. I'm at school, you know?
Yeah.
So at that point, I was at home for about 8 months, I think. October, I went back to my place. When I went back, now I'm excited that, okay, we can go to school. We can attend online and on campus. There was some arrangement that was done. But staying alone again. And as I was staying alone, and I'm left with the last
few models.
Yeah, it's my last year, so I want to make most of Bloom now. I'm like, I want to have fun. Oh, and I had just recently.
But this one is saying it's not at my time.
And I had just got a car, so I was like, no, I want to be everywhere. I wanna have fun.
Yeah.
And then I remember I got an infection. I don't know how and when, but I could feel that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I could feel that I'm not okay. So did bloods for the doctor again. I came back into hospital. It was rejecting.
Oh, shucked. Is this the time where I had COVID?
We were both in hospital. I remember.
We were in hospital and we were on video calls day in, day out.
I remember. My goodness. A lot was happening. A lot was happening. So now it's the rejection. We worried about COVID. Okay, at least my status was negative.
Yeah.
But the problem was it was rejecting. I had this jaundice. The symptoms were very harsh. I was itching. I was in a good state.
Like everything just comes back and it doesn't even give you time when it rejects, you
I
literally see the
instantly.
symptoms.
And you know, transplant can make you seem like a lying person. One moment you're okay,
You okay?
the
The
next
next minute.
you're in hospital. Like how I went out yadlala.
I used to go out with my friends. We good. The following day, I call them, I'm in hospital, and they're like, how?
They never. Yo. So whilst in here at the hospital, I get an abscess on the bum now. The abscess, my doctor calls in another doctor to check it out, what's or not, and then they're like, we have no choice, but we have to
Cut it.
cut it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We've got the rejection, we've got the abscess. Potassium be high. I'm like, how does it get high? They're like, you've got high potassium and it's dangerous for your heart. Okay. The following day, you know they come in every morning. The following day, get your kidney. I'm like, hi guys, come on now. Come on now. Come on. It's the kidneys. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening at once. They put me up for treatment for the liver.
Uh-huh.
And then now the abscess was scheduled to be
Removed.
removed.
Yeah.
And we removed it successfully. Came back from theater, back in my room. I slept. While sleeping, man, it's wet. My bed feels wet, you know.
Yeah.
You know when something is wet and then it goes cold on your skin, then you can feel the cold. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. So it's dark, and I'm in high care. It's dark. So I call my nurse, and then I'm like, what's happening? She puts on the light. As I get up
bleeding.
and I get off the bed, it's a whole pool of blood. So like, where is this coming from?
Yeah. Was it from the abscess?
Only to find out, you know where they stitched it opened.
Open up. I had episodes of that.
It opened. The way it was bleeding, I was shaking. You know we do have tremors, ne? But
Yeah.
I was shaking. I was so scared. I felt cold in my body. I was like, what's happening? It was bleeding, and I stood next to the bed. A clot, a very huge clot. It's like a fist size. I'm like, no, where is it coming?
Didn't you think it was your liver?
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
They're like, where do you feel you're bleeding from? I'm like, I can't feel where I'm bleeding from.
Yeah.
As I'm moving to the toilet,
Spots of blood.
clots.
Highball.
You know, they're falling. I'm like, no, man. Now I'm like, no, I'm gonna die. So we clean up everything. They're like, no, man, let's put you on a diaper so that it bleeds onto
Yeah.
it. They get a doctor that was on call, and she comes in and she's like, what's happening? And then she wants us to reopen everything to check where is it coming from.
Yeah.
It started bleeding out again. It was like a tap open. I'm like, no, guys, I'm gonna die.
So are you bleeding like your period's type of bleed but worse?
That couldn't be a period. It's like you were stabbed.
Shucks.
You know when you're stabbed on a vein or something?
Yeah,
when
that kind of blood.
I was like, no. And then when she looks at it, she's like, no, it's the op, ne?
Okay.
The stitches came off, number one. Mm-hmm. 2, when I'm looking at it inside, it looks like your artery.
Okay.
It's open. It looks open. We need to get you to theater ASAP. It's 3 a.m. Like, what happens now? Now, the way it was so heavy, and I don't know how many times I had to change those diapers. They were filling up so fast, and I was getting weak, and because now they had to bring in the doctor that was doing the op, the surgeon, to close it up again. He came in the morning, but very early in the morning. We went straight to theater, and he
stitched up.
Stitched it up. You know, nurses do a great job, because I remember I had a male nurse as my nurse that morning. And then he starts bleeding again. And then he's like, what do we do now? I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I still need to like shower to get ready to
Yeah.
go to the
Theater.
to the theater. So he has to be there. He has no choice. And he's like, yeah, no, after this, if my daughter or my wife get a period in front of me,
It's okay. It's okay.
because when you're taking the shower, the blood is not waiting for you. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know. So he had to assist me a lot. Got ready for theater. Went to theater. They stitched it up. I couldn't move. I couldn't pee. I couldn't. When I came back, the pain. I stayed that day. The following day, I had to start again on the liver treatment. Now I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Because, you know, when they do the liver treatments, it brings down your immune system.
Yeah. And
Knocks it down. Suppresses it to rock
beyond,
bottom.
yeah.
So now I don't have energy for anything. I remember I was admitted on the 1st of December 2020. Got out April 2021. Was it the 26th, 27th of April? That was my longest stay.
Because I remember we kept on communicating.
My longest stay.
Oh my goodness.
My longest stay. January, they tried to discharge me, and I went home. In Northern Cape now. I went home, we had a family dinner, and came back. So at Northern Cape, we came back. That was January. We came back. 2 days after we got back in hospital.
What was happening now?
The liver was still rejecting. It was still rejecting. The kidneys they wanted to act up. My kidneys never really got a chance to act up, really.
Yeah.
They wanted to act up. I think after the dialysis, they just relaxed and gave me a break, you know. So now it's the rejection. We are suppressing to a point where I wasn't eating.
And you tired.
Oh yes,
now.
my other issue was diabetes.
Oh, sure.
Because remember, I got diabetes and high blood pressure after transplant. My diabetes was out of control. It was out of control. It was so bad to a point where I was like, no, man, What do other people do that have diabetes? Clearly, you guys can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know, now you start blaming the doctors, the nurses, and what's not. And yet, it's your body. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah,
they can only do so much, you know. So I'm like, let me find what other people are doing that have diabetes. Are they drinking okra? What? Are they drinking? Here I am again.
Self-meditating again after being
Here
told.
Here I am. Hey, I start drinking these things, but nothing worked. Nothing worked because remember, it's the liver treatment and everything is just shooting high now because
Suppression
that's going on. Diabetes uncontrollable. They tried to discharge me again in early February. And here I am thinking, hey, I'm gonna enjoy Valentine's out. That day
of Valentine.
of Valentine's, I think it was over a weekend, and I was going to Bloem. This other beautiful lodge booked there. There's game drives. So I'm gonna do all those activities with the guy. As I'm driving out reversing, now I'm looking cute. I'm in an outfit. My boot is packed. Poured petrol in the car. I'm so excited, and it's my first trip.
Yeah.
Like that, I felt okay. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
My doctor's PA calls the receptionist. She calls me. She's like, "Hi, can you see there? How are you?" I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?" At first, I didn't pick up. I was like, "Hi, lava."
And you can see that 011
Hi.
test.
I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not gonna pick it up." They're up to no good.
Yeah.
And then she calls again. Oh, they called my parents.
To find out where you are.
Yeah. So my parents are, no, she's in Joburg. She's there. Because I had just been discharged last week. Right? So I spent about a couple of days. It wasn't even a full 7 days. And then they call. we need you back in hospital. I was like, no way. I was like, no.
But I'm
I can't.
okay. What do you
I'm like, I'm fine.
mean?
It's like, yeah, no, we were looking at your bloods. They don't look fine. You need to come back. So I'm like, which bloods? Now I'm acting all tough. Like, which bloods? They're
Yeah.
like, the ones that you did on Monday. I'm like, that was Monday. Today it's Friday. What do you mean? They're not valid anymore. I'm fine now. So she's like, no, they're very much still valid. Chances are you just got worse. You've got infections going on in the body, and we need you back into the hospital. I'm like, there's no way. I'm fine. I'm leaving. I'm gone. I'm okay. The way she was like, okay, come to the hospital. We'll do bloods and prove to us that you're okay.
Yeah.
If your bloods come out saying you're doing better, we'll let you go. It's fine. But see, the way I was shouting at her, I'm like, you guys always ruin my plans. And you know when you have one thing about Lebanon, when you've got plans,
It will show you I have other plans.
it's always when you have plans. I was like, no, guys. I spent the whole December here, the whole of January here. I've only been home less than 7 days.
Yeah.
Now, I want to do a trip. I can't. I come in looking all sassy, wearing sunglasses. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. They're like, okay, you can go up to your bed. And then the ladies from the lab, they come and do the bloods. And they come back later, like, they just gave me, they literally printed them out. And they're like, read for yourself, it's fine. I'm like, no, but either way, I still feel fine. And I was getting worse. And now the jaundice, I thought at some point it did clear up, but it was only the start. It was about to get worse, you know.
Yeah.
So now I'm jaundiced. I'm like,
Feeling weak.
it's a good thing that I didn't go to that trip. I would have been sick in Bloemfontein. I would have been stuck there. The way I got so sick.
It's weird how you go in first, and I'm also talking from experience. You go for tests. You absolutely okay. You're 100.
Yeah.
The test come back with you not being okay.
Yeah.
But the minute you get admitted, you're like, bam.
Boom, down. Yeah. It's crazy. So I was like, okay, it's a good thing. But I don't want to say it now. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it now. So I stayed in hospital February, March, they tried to let me out. My doctor was like, I know you must be very tired. You've been here for such a long time. You can go home for the weekend,
Come back on a
but
Monday.
promise to be back on Monday. We'll readmit you on Monday because you're still not okay. So I went home for the weekend, and then I came back Monday. Because this was practically home now,
Yeah.
the hospital. And my doctor was like, I know it feels like we're not doing enough and you're not getting better. But remember, your liver, we can't force it to
And
be
you
okay.
can't rush.
We can't rush it.
Yeah.
We can't. It's going to take time. But trust me, you'll be okay. So he's like, please just hang in there. I know you're very annoyed. You're sick and tired of hospital and the hospital food and all of that. And do you know what got me? They have great food, but I was on the liver diabetic diet.
Oh shit, no.
So nothing had taste.
Salt, no sugar.
I was like, So I started boycotting food. They called in the dietitian and the ladies from the kitchen. So they sat me down. They're like, what would you like to eat? The list I gave them. I'm like, I want cornflakes. I want milk. I want sugar. Like, but
Everything that your body doesn't.
Like, you can't have sugars. You can't. I'm like, no, but guys, I'm tired. And mostly this diabetes is not getting better, so it just might as well. They're like, you can't say just might as well.
Yeah.
It's you're only sending yourself to the grave now.
Yeah.
You know. So every now and then they'd come in, what do you want to eat? Because now the menu was not accommodating what I felt like eating.
Yeah.
And I was so tired. It's been how many months? Since December, I've been eating this menu. Like, I'm tired. So they did try to, like, bring in the support, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They got me. Oh, at some point, yes, I did boycott my psychologist as well. It's like, no, my psychologist is white. She can't understand me. They're like,
Khanyi is stubborn.
they were like, what do you mean she can't? You've been her
Yeah.
patient since, and I've been since transplant. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
I was like, and I think it came with just the tantrums were just there because I was bored now. I was tired. emotional. I wasn't okay. I'm like, once again, I'm here.
And the nice thing is that they understand.
You know? So, stayed in hospital. I made friends. Now I used to even gallivant at night around the hospital. I was because it's home now. I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere, so just might as well stay. And ever since it was April now, past March, April. In April, things were looking up slightly better, and then my doctor was like, "I've got one more treatment for you.
Okay.
Can we try it?" I'm like, "No, I'm tired. I am tired now." And then he's like, "Just this one. Before we give up on everything, just this one." And I knew they wouldn't give up because that's not them,
Yeah.
So it's like, just this one. And I'm like, if this liver is rejecting care, let's let it be. If I'm supposed to pass on, let me pass. I'm very tired of these things. Needles every day, ini, this and that.
Did you at one point think of death? That
Yes.
you're going to die?
Yeah, a lot of times, and to a point where I called this. I don't want to mention the name. Very famous, well-known lawyer in Bloem. I called him. He was a family friend at my uncle that's in Bloem. So they know each other, political and stuff. So I remember I got his number and I was like, "Hi, dude, listen, can you draft my..."
Will. You're a student. What were you giving up?
That's what my brother says. My brother's
Your
like, "You have nothing.
Your books.
You've got nothing. You've got nothing."
You are so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. Like, you've got nothing. What do you want us? Do you want to give us your phone that we bought for you? What do you want to give us? You've got nothing. And I was like, no. Okay, listen, I want to plan my funeral as well. Can we do that? Can you write it and put it there? I was so dramatic.
Goodness.
And he's like, "Can I talk to your parents first?" I'm like, no, don't talk to them. It's my funeral. I will plan it. And then I wrote it down, meanwhile. Because he's like, "I'm not doing what you want me to do. I'm not going to do that because you're not going to pass on." So anyway, I drafted my funeral thingy. That, okay, this is how I want the whole process to go. Can you please play Beyonce? I was here.
Guys, make me understand.
I was here. I want a pink coffin. Written my nickname on the side, Bonnie. And can everyone wear white at the funeral? So I had it planned out, man. And pop champagne. Like, don't cry. Be happy. It's, So having this whole funeral planned out now. And I told my mom was like, "I'm not even going to entertain this. I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'm not going to..." It's fine, my child. Do what makes you happy. Because she understood that it's just
a phase.
And she's not okay. So
she's tired,
It's okay. Fine. I stayed in hospital all those months. It was April, I got discharged. I still have the pictures. I was still not okay. I was so skinny. And never, ever in my life have I been skinny. I've always been a big girl.
A win is a win.
So I was happy. I don't want to lie. Because all of a sudden, I'm wearing size 32, 34. I was like, what? I've never had that, So I was happy. It's end of April. I get out of hospital. First week, I'm like to my friend that stays in Pretoria, "Chemi, let's go to Artis." And she's like, "Are you sure? Are you fine?" I'm like, yes, let's go. Plan a day trip to Artis. We have fun. And I could see she's worried about my look because the jaundice is still there, but it's not severe. But at the very same time, I'm so skinny. I look very dehydrated, I look...
And I'm sure you're tired. Like, there's that type of tired,
Yes.
of infection tired or rejection tired.
And, me, I force matters. I was at Artis enjoying myself. I came back from Artis and we went to... My brother, he's the youngest out of the boys at home. He calls me, he's like, "Hey, listen, come through to Eastern Cape. There's someone I want to take you to. He's a healer. I want to take you there. Let's see what help we can get for you." Right? Because now I'm tired of hospital. I'm always in hospital. I live at the hospital, And then I go there. they're like, okay, we'll do the ceremony for you. Okay, here's the crazy part. We're gonna do the ceremony, ne? I have to pay this amount to prepare for this thing. We're gonna do it back at home in Northern Cape. I'm like, okay, cool. At that point, I grew up in a Christian-based family.
Okay.
You know, my parents didn't really practice any rituals and all
Yeah.
of that. So grew up Sunday school. You
Yeah.
know, we go to a Methodist, and then now this other side of life was very new. It was very new because, okay, let me take you back again to the time when we were trying to find the liver. At that point, my mom, she was serving, what do you call it? She had a position in church for treasury.
Okay.
So she was handling the money of all the, we have these, how do you call it? The church, it's all over.
Okay.
So she was handling it for all the churches that are in Eastern Cape. So
Okay.
we call it Eastern Cape Conference. And then she was part of these groups at church, your finance group, your women's missionary group, your in all of these groups. She wrote on all of those groups. She needs prayers, you know.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. That was the week of the transplant.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, no people come to you on the side. Come, no, I know so and so can heal her. This Nyangi, this person, this what. So there were those people that were sending us around to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's when at some point my mom was like, this is not going to work. Because at the end of the day, her belief is this, God. And it can only be God now in this situation. We need a miracle.
Yeah.
So now we're going back to seeing a healer. My brother is taking me to this place, whatsoever. And then, let me tell you, I don't know what they did, but I had an appointment that was going to be in it was the weekend. The Monday, there was an appointment that a checkup, a regular checkup. And my doctor was like that week, can you do bloods for me? I'm like, randomly. It's like, I want to see something. I do. Now I've been in the Eastern Cape, so I think he was actually quite worried.
Okay.
And then I do bloods. Bloods come back. It's not looking good, ne?
What?
And then my brother's like, no, wait. Before you go,
Let's do this.
let's do the ceremony.
Yeah.
So what happens? Hey, we quickly put 2 and 2 together. We go and do the ceremony at home. When I come back to Joburg, I drove myself from Northern Cape to Joburg.
Jeez.
It was, I left home in Northern Cape at 3 a.m. In the morning, I was in Joburg. And I did bloods. And my bloods came back on the Tuesday now, when I'm going in for the appointment. And then my doctor was like, everything looks fine. What did you do? So I'm like, no, I didn't do anything.
So what did you do?
You know? And he's like, no, man, you must have done something. Let me take out your records
Yeah.
to show you why I'm saying you must have done something. The consistency. It's like, I know your numbers, man.
Yeah.
I know your levels. So all of a sudden, everything is just
Everything looks okay.
as if you've never had a transplant.
What?
It's like you look like a normal person. It's like there's no way. Not even someone who's transplanted who's doing fine, they've got these levels.
Yeah.
What did you do? Hey, and that time, at the ceremony, I were busy. We were doing these things that they mix. And then, okay, it was an all-nighter type of thing. We didn't sleep. Drinking stuff. Busy all the time. So I'm like, I drink traditional herbs. So,
Yeah.
you know. And then he's like, that's quite dangerous because now, should anything happen to you, it's going to be
It
difficult.
might clash with your medication and
Medication
they
that you
won't
take.
be able to pinpoint.
What's happening?
Yeah.
It's quite dangerous. Me being me, I was like, yeah, it's fine. As long as I'm doing well, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. It's fine. Let's move on, girl life. Actually.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that was the very last time I was in hospital until 2022. So that was 2021. When I got out April, I never got admitted again. I stayed the whole entire year of 2021 I enjoyed Christmas at home. I enjoyed New Year's at home. I was happy.
The first time you felt like yourself.
And me being me, I want to go to Groove. I want to go to Groove.
I love just how every time you get out of hospital, you want to go live.
I wanted to go to Groove. I was like, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I had fun that December. I was with my cousins. We were just having fun. And then it was 2022 now. But in 2022, I was doing fairly well until December, where my levels were slightly elevated, you know.
Okay.
And then, but I only stayed for like 7 days at hospital. I was like, oh, this has been my shortest stay ever. And it's been nice.
Yeah.
But we did even a short treatment. It didn't take long to suppress again.
Yeah.
So my doctor was like, you do have a chronic rejection that's underlying. And 2022, that was my shortest stay. Got out. We had an event at home, but I was happy again.
Yeah.
Life going on with life. 2023 came. I was back in Eastern Cape at home now.
Okay.
Stayed at home. I was doing well. I was okay until 2024. Now I do come in for checkups, but still looks good. But there is this underlying chronic rejection, you know. So my doctor's like, there are symptoms, like I can see on your liver that something is not fully okay, but it's not scary.
It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's not fatal.
For now. And then come my last checkup, 2024 July. Now I'm used to, throughout 2023, started 2024. Every time I come in for checkups,
everything looks pashash.
I mean, and I'm cocky. I feel normal. So I come back, and then he's like, oh, the one thing that they always ask me was, are you planning to have kids? Do you want to have kids?
What's your answer? I'd like to
And
hear that.
and I'm like, no, not now. No, not now. Every checkup, I was like, make sure you let me know. Make sure you let me know. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, do you want to have kids? Every time. On this last checkup, he didn't ask me. That's weird. And then he's like, we might need another transplant. So I found it very odd that he didn't ask me. Like, you always ask me this question.
Yeah.
And I've always said, no, man. If I do get married, I'll have kids, but should I not get married, it's okay.
It's not in the plan.
It's not in the plan because I feel like I won't manage. So, and I'm like, for now, anyway, we're chasing career now, so it's okay. It's still early. And then he's like, we will need another transplant in the near future. Could be in the next 3 years, could be in the next 5, but I'm anticipating 5. I'm like, why? And then he's like, because you do have this chronic rejection that's ongoing, and it might escalate, and I need you to prepare yourself now emotionally, because I know how difficult it was for you on the first time around.
Yeah.
So I need to prepare you now emotionally that you might have to undergo the procedure again. And he's like, I don't want you to be shocked when I bring it up again. And as I said, it could be in the next 3 years.
I just love how they are so honest, but sometimes it just, you don't want the honesty.
You don't want it. And also their accuracy.
Yeah.
They're so accurate about a lot of stuff. So I was like, okay, no, it's fine. Let's. What should happen in the meantime is like, I need you to start going to the gym. I need you to be active.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not active. Like.
Yeah. At one point, the gym was the worst place for us to be because that's where the germs are.
You know, now that's where I need to be. So it's like, I need you to build some muscle fiber on your body.
Yeah.
I need you to be as healthy as possible as you can be. It's like, I don't want to dictate what
it's like
you
a
must
preparation.
It is, you know. It is. Because from the way he was talking, I could tell that, man,
It's a definite thing that
it
you're
is
going
gonna
to need,
happen,
like
and he's just preparing me now, you know. So I was like, okay. And then he's like, I need you to manage your diabetes, your high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And funny enough, at my last checkup, my high blood pressure was shooting up high. It was shooting high, and he couldn't understand. And that was before the news,
Yeah.
you know. And then he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing's wrong." And I was really happy. I was. It was a good day for me, you know. So he's like, "No, man, your high blood pressure is very high. It's crazy."
And do you think, well, I'd like to believe that they have told you this. If I'm not mistaken, your liver failed due to autoimmune as well?
Yes, back in 2019. That's 7 weeks I spent. So initially they had concluded first time around 2018 after the transplant that it must have been some substance that caused it to fail. But they also weren't sure because, as I said, speculations, Herbalife, what's or not. So they just closed the case.
So now it goes back to, do you think that chronic rejection, the autoimmune might be the cause?
Yes. Yes.
Which will definitely make sense because at any time, as an autoimmune patient, your liver is expected to reject, or your immune system to reject your liver. So that is actually...
So in 2019, the time I was there for 7 weeks, they did revisit the case. They sat down, and as they were doing tests and, you know, biopsies and checking and what's or not, they did say it is autoimmune hepatitis.
Yeah.
And they said something crazy, that they believe amongst African girls, there is something.
It's high.
Yeah, the numbers are very high amongst African ladies.
Yeah.
Especially young girls.
Yeah.
So they're like, there must be something. Like, we're not sure if it's something that you guys are taking or what's or not. But once you guys, the studies that they've made so far, they're like, but we're still trying to do more research on this. That you guys have a high number of, like, you're the most people that have autoimmune hepatitis, and it's the African girlies.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, which includes all the other countries in Africa.
Yeah.
Not just us, South Africa, you know, it's the whole entire continent. So they're like, there must be something. And when they said autoimmune hepatitis, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But it made me think. Back in when was I 7? 2005. 2005, around there. This one night, I just woke up from my sleep and I was vomiting. So as I was vomiting, it was black liquid, like black. You know, it was thick, it was black. So my mom was so confused. So she scooped it up, put it in those, you know, those zip bags.
Zip bags.
Put it
for
in
testing.
There. And well, she didn't take it for testing, but she took it to my gran.
Okay.
Because she was like, "What's this?
Yeah.
What's this?" And I remember I lost so much weight after that. And I went to the doctors. Doctors couldn't pick up anything. They're like, no, it must have been food poisoning.
Yeah.
And that's where it ended. I never got hospitalized or anything. Just went to a GP. And I was like, what if? Now I'm thinking in my head, what if from that time, that autoimmune hepatitis,
it was showing itself.
You know? And I'm thinking here throughout the years that I'm okay.
Yeah. Because one thing I have picked up, or the doctors have picked up, is that the autoimmune, you must have been born with it, but it goes into hiding.
You see, it could be.
Shows up and then withdraws, but when it finally comes out, that's when literally you're just there, like in a critical state.
Yeah.
Yo guys, we might going to have a part 1 and a part 2 with Khanyi, or even a part 3, because the story is so interesting. But now there are things that I also want us to like touch base. And as a liver transplant recipient, a survivor of so many things, the lady who slept
and didn't wake
up, what's that message that you would like to tell to someone who's waiting on that wait list?
I might not know the feeling of being on the wait list, you know?
Oh yes, she didn't go on the wait list. Okay, someone who's...
But I've had so many people come to me that are on the wait list that you engage with, and it's it brings a lot of thoughts into my mind, and it's quite sad. But I do wish they never lose hope.
More than anything.
More than anything, because when that hope dies inside you,
that's when you die.
Yeah. I do wish that they do pray, and whoever they pray to and believe in, I hope it fuels their belief that and their hope that
one day,
because my case was a miracle case. I mean, like, if God could do it for me, why can't he for the other person? And my prayer has always been, God, for those that need you most right now, show up. Show off, man. Come on. Show us that you are God and you are able to do these things, and just do it for them, man.
Yeah.
You know? But I do deeply wish in my heart that they never lose that hope. You know, when you wake up every day, like, you're waiting for the call. I can't even wait at a bank for so long.
But you are patient.
You know? And I can imagine how much patience you should have in you when you are on that list. But I do really hope that they stick it through. You don't lose hope, man. And it's not the end until God decides.
God
it's not the end.
As his last word.
It's not the end until I do hope they do keep on holding on. And I know it's not easy. It's especially when you get a text and then someone is like, my mom or sibling or whoever in the family is on the waiting list. We've been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
I lost a friend as well that was on the waiting list.
Yeah.
Stayed on the waiting list to a point that they even lost medical aid.
Yeah.
Now they couldn't even afford the treatment. So, but they end up passing on. You know? So I really hope all I can say to them actually is hold on to the hope. Like, it's not easy. Have your days where it's just your low days. Have your days where it's your high days. But remember, enjoy every day. I aim to enjoy every day, no matter what's happening in my life. A lot happens in our lives and with our health, but make the most out of it. Be grateful that God was still able to breathe life into you that morning and woke you up and all of that. But hold on and do believe that miracles happen. My case was a miracle case. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God deciding that, okay, listen, we'll make a liver available within those 10 hours.
Yeah, less than 10 hours.
If it wasn't for him, no one could have done anything.
Yeah.
There was no miracle, there's no medication, there's no prophet, there's no...
Nothing was bought, guys. Nothing was bought.
Listen, nothing
Yeah.
was going to change the situation. The outcome was going to be different from what it is now. But keep the hope. Keep going. Keep believing that God can still make it happen for you. And you're not the odd one out. It feels like you're the odd one out. And why you? I remember I once said to this other time when I was going through it all in hospital, and I had this nurse, and I was like, why me? And then she said, if not you, who? You know? And I was like, yeah, no, she's right. I can't wish this upon anyone else. You understand? So I do really. And seek help, because people keep quiet. People don't know what they've got. People don't know what's happening, but they can see that they're sick, but they're quiet. Seek help. Ask. Rather ask than you don't know where help can come from. You know, just ask, inquire. See a doctor that you can see, but don't sit.
Not Google.
Hey, and don't be like me and self-medicate all the time. You know,
not Google.
Don't self-medicate. Find out what it is, because I mean, like, your health is the best thing you can invest in.
Yeah.
And now I just wish sometimes, there are times where I said, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that, man. I shouldn't have drank that. I shouldn't have, you know, because the older I get now, the more I understand that. Yeah, no. if I don't take care of myself,
No one will.
and I'm wasting my time, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas investing in my health more, like as I said, I was inactive. I haven't been active. I don't do any form of exercise,
Yeah.
but now I can see that it's really affecting me.
Yeah.
You know, and number one, the breathing. You walk a few meters breathing. Yeah, you know. So even when I catched the virus recently, got admitted for the virus, they said it's rhinovirus. The way I was like, God, can you just clear me up so I can breathe?
Yeah.
You know, you appreciate.
The
I didn't have a taste.
little-
I didn't have taste. I couldn't taste anything. I didn't have a sense of smell.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt so numb. I was like, what's happening? And they're like, it's not the liver. It's this virus that's
Yeah.
in your body that you catched somewhere. We don't know where. And it's contagious. I had to be isolated. So I was like, is this not corona? They're like, no, it's not corona.
Yeah.
It's definitely not corona. It's different. It's rhinovirus, this one. And at that point, I was like, oh, there's always something new.
Yeah.
Why is there always something, new name, new what, and why does it
Things
begin
that
with
we,
us?
and sometimes it's things that we can't even pronounce. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because you know sometimes and a lot of times, not sometimes, people do not understand how is Mimo always in and out of hospital getting all these diagnoses. It's when you have a conversation with someone who's actually going through
Yeah.
the same thing and you like they're from the same breed.
Now they understand what
They
I'm
understand,
saying.
or oh, she's really not making
This
things
up,
up.
yeah,
She
yeah.
is a really
That's why I was
sick.
saying that it makes you seem like a liar.
True.
You know, transplant will make you seem like a liar.
Yeah.
You okay now?
Jiggy jiggy.
And it literally takes such a short space of time for you to get ill. You can get
Yeah.
ill in a split second. You can breathe something, you ill.
You ill. You see something, you ill.
You touch something, you forget to wash your hands, you ill.
You ill. Because at one point I know I was told that I cannot be too excited.
Yeah, I
can't
hate
be
that.
too emotional. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I control
Yeah.
how I feel? Because that will make you sick.
Do you know, and with that, it's difficult explaining it to people. In my workspace right now, there are things that get me mad, and I can't be angry about them.
And you
And
remember that you need to-
I'd sit in a meeting and be like,
I'm just gonna let it go because of my
and I
liver.
just, and I just breathe. I just
Yeah.
breathe. I just breathe. And you'll hear colleagues like, do you feel attacked? Like, no, I don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
Are you okay? And sometimes I go into my quiet mode. I keep quiet because I'm trying. I always say this to my colleagues that I don't want anyone to be the reason why I'm back in hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys don't understand transplant life. I understand that.
Yeah.
As a result, that's how I control it as best as I can.
Yeah.
Because I remember this day I was so angry. Workspace stuff and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna get mad. You know,
Yeah.
let me call my parents, let me talk to them. I know I'm gonna be happy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be okay. And I did that, and as I was talking to the colleague, it's like, what happened yesterday at the meeting, what's or not, this and that. And I was like, no, thing is, I had to quickly remind myself that you guys don't pay my medical aid.
Yeah.
So I can't afford having you guys landing me into hospital because of
Yeah.
the stress that you guys are causing
Yeah.
me, or the emotions that you guys bring
Yeah.
that come out of me. And so I'm not willing to be mad and angry and all the things that I know
Uh-huh.
I'm not supposed to be feeling, or at a high extent.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to be accountable for that, because the moment I land in hospital because of something that happened here and caused me certain emotions,
Yeah.
I'll come back and I'll get mad again.
Yeah.
So let's not. And it's difficult to explain it to people and make them understand how sometimes we react to certain things in a different manner.
Yeah.
And also being excited, how can you not get excited when you're happy?
This will definitely be for another day. I'm still with Khanyi, and I feel like there's just so much to talk about. And Khanyi, now it's a message to you received an organ. I always say I got a liver from someone I will never get to know, but a part of them still lives in me. Do you have any message to encourage people to be organ donors?
Yes, you know, I'd love for people to sign up for organ donation because number one, you are saving so many lives, and you don't understand the seriousness of it until it happens in your own space, family, friends, someone close to you. But I'd love to encourage a lot of people, like South Africans, to just sign up to be organ donors to make sure that their relatives, their friends know that they are signed up as organ donors, and not to fear donating your organs. I know there's a lot of stereotypes and all of that, but be mindful of the fact that you are saving someone else's life. You are you are giving someone else an opportunity to live, to you literally giving someone a gift that no one else can ever give. And it's like giving someone the gift of life, you know.
Definitely, yeah.
And there could never be anything that measures up to that. You know, there's no amount of thank yous, and as someone who has received, you know. But I'd love for people to understand that we all live in this planet, and we humans, and can we as humans help one another?
Yeah.
You know, can we extend our arm and be like, I'm willing, you know, have thoughtful hearts, be compassionate to people, and like, there's so many people that need organs. There's so many, the list is long, and it keeps on getting longer and longer and longer. But it could be you tomorrow, it could be your relative that needs an organ.
Yeah.
So I'd really, really, really love people to actually take the initiative, sign up, learn about organ donation, understand it, and be mindful. You know, these things don't only happen to certain people, it can be anyone.
Today it's you, tomorrow it's me. You've heard it from me.
Sorry.
You've heard it from Kanye. Let's save a life, you know.
Save a life.
One person can save eight or
Eight.
seven. Yeah, 8 people. So that's 8 lives. We're definitely going to have Kanye back because there was just so much, and I feel like just so little time.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Khanyi,
you.
for coming through to Rare Realities with Madimo Mimo Mokgosi. Until next time,
Bye.
bye.